Hi again, everyone. It's Mark here. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network, and we're over 80,000 strong now, which is very exciting across our 4 LinkedIn groups. You'll find links to those where this appears. But this is the fun bit for me, really is, because I get to put a face to a name, and I'm joined by Melanie Perry, who is one of our full members and very active in our LinkedIn groups, which is great. So do look out for those. Melanie, thank you for joining me to do this today.
I'm delighted to be here.
It's great. We've had a good chat already, which is lovely. And in the true spirit of our community, we've already found opportunities to refer, which is fantastic. So could I ask you to introduce yourself to our other members and let us know what makes you tick, what makes you get up in the morning, the work you do, for whom, and what you'd like to do more of. And also, if there's anyone out there who looks like a new client, partner, or collaborator, what does that person look like, so that we can all look out for those opportunities to introduce.
Lovely, thank you. My name is Melanie Perry, and I have a couple of hats. I like to get involved with a lot of different things. I'm typical creative. I have lots of strings to my bow. My main business is Poppy Perry Media. I am an agency that creates video for business. I'm also a multi-award-winning filmmaker, created my first film in lockdown that did exceptionally well on the International Film Festival circuit. And I'll send you the link, Mark, so that people can check out the film if they want to. And I love nothing more than helping anybody, really, not just businesses, but anybody, tell their stories and make it really visual and compelling and emotional. And sometimes that can be easy, sometimes it can be a bit more difficult. Especially in the realm of advertising, I help businesses condense their messages to the short and punchy. We've all heard people rambling on about what it is they do, what their products are, and I try to train them to getting it sounding a little bit more relatable to the general public. Because a lot of people, I think, when they go on video or create copy for their business, they make it about them and their products. It's not about you at all. It's about your audience, and it's what your audience is going to see and what they're going to hear and what they're going to feel. And so that is my passion. And I train companies as well in communication, both external comms, so that they're saying the right things to the world and building up their brands in the right way, and internal comms as well, because I'm very passionate about communication, because bad communication can cause all sorts of problems, and it's just not worth going down that road if you can possibly avoid it. So that's my Poppy Perry Media hat. There's crazy psychedelic background behind me. I also run creatives group, which is a little bit like the Arts and Culture Network. We're a bunch of creative professionals who network. We have networking meetings and referrals and that kind of thing, and we're a jolly band of nutters, really. What more can I say on that? You have to excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough because I'm just getting over a third bout of COVID that I've had in as many months. So my brain's still a bit cotton woolly, I think, at the moment. I love speaking. I love communicating. I love speaking. I've done quite a few speaking gigs, and that's something I'd love to do more of. I want to do a TED talk or a TEDx talk. I just have to narrow it down to one topic that I can talk about, because there's so many that I'd like to talk about. I just need to try and narrow it down. So that's kind of on my bucket list, is to do a TED talk. And people say to me a lot, because I'm a very high energy person, you probably gathered by now, I'm very high energy, and people come to me if they're not sure about things or they've lost their mojo, and by the time they walk out of a meeting with me, they're raring to go and they're excited about their business and let's go do stuff, which is fantastic. And if I had £1 for every person that said to me, if I just had an ounce of what you've got, it'd just be amazing. Well, you have, everybody has. It's just finding that spark that gets you lit up and passionate again about what you're doing. And that can be difficult in a big corporate, because when you have to toe the line, your voice kind of gets buried a little bit, and it's trying to educate people that you can have your personality and you can say what you need to do in the right way, and refine your passion for why it is you're doing whatever it is you're doing in the first place.
That sounds great. I've been poring over some of the things that you've done via the LinkedIn profile, and where can we find more about you? Is the LinkedIn profile the best place to start, or is there a
Yeah,
web?
LinkedIn's probably the best place to start. That's the social media that I hang out on the most, because although you'll see us, especially with creatives is everywhere. It's on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and everything. I'm a bit more promoting my Poppy Pro Media business, but LinkedIn is a place that you'll always get me. That's the place that I focus on. You can find Poppy Perry Media on Facebook. You can find creatives on Facebook. Poppy Perry Media is not on Instagram, so it's really sort of Facebook and LinkedIn, really. But LinkedIn is the place where you will always get me.
Okay, that's great. Well, wherever this appears, we'll make sure that there are links there. So thank you, Melanie, and thank you very much for being one of our full members. As you know, we're on a bit of a mission to get to turn our network into a support foundation that funds worthy arts and culture projects by the end of the decade. And we're on track, which is great. And it's thanks to people like you who've decided to subscribe to keep us on that journey. So thank you so much for that. It strikes me that it'd be wonderful if you did one of our TAD talks next year. I'm waiting for the lawsuit from TED, but the TAD talk is a 10-minute speed webinar in the middle of our networking events, and it's TAD because it stands for the Arts Debate, and it's TAD because it's only short. So that would be great. We should explore that in more detail. That'd be fantastic. But now we're going to have a bit of fun, and this is often comes as a surprise. I think you might have done a little bit of homework on this, but I really love to learn from our new members where their preferences lie across the arts and culture spectrum. There are no wrong answers. If you don't have a favorite in these categories, then you can always throw it back to me. And I tend to answer differently every time, I find, on this. But it always produces an anecdote and a surprise, which is really good fun. For example, I did not expect the middle-aged art specialist at one of our major auction houses to cite hip-hop as her favorite musical genre, and that was a delight. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's go. Now, Melanie, do you have a favorite building?
A favorite building? Oh gosh, I'm not sure, because I swing between, depends what mood I'm in as to what architecture I'm vibing. I don't particularly like boxy modern. I like kind of older buildings and like old churches, and sort of in a sort of gothic-y type period, where you've got your gargoyles and things like that. So I like things that I can look at. So I don't think I've got a building specifically, but I like architecture that you can really look at and get immersed in, rather than just a square box that's glass. That doesn't really appeal to me.
I think King Charles would probably be on your side with that. I love St Pancras Station. It's just that you just can't stop looking at it. There's something new at every glance. It's fantastic. I love that. It's an interesting point. It seems to be that architecture has become a backdrop to other things. Minimalism, a simple life, the framework, the frame almost of the picture, rather than the picture itself. And with St Pancras Station as an example, that's the work of art. It's not simply a box that other things happen in. So love that. Right, you can have your Gothic gargoyles. Okay. What about a favorite book?
Oh, favorite book. I love Agatha Christie. I love a good murder mystery. So again, I don't think I've got one book that I can cite particularly, but Agatha Christie I'll read over and over again. J.K. Rowling, as Robert Galbraith, her Strike series, absolutely love those, and I can consume those in like a matter of days. And every book that she writes, it's great. They come out and they're getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And I'm thinking, yes, but I still managed to get through it in like 2 days. So I love her as Robert Galbraith. But give me a good murder mystery any day of the week, and I'll be happy.
You'd be happy with P.D. James as well.
Yeah, Yeah, all of those. And the Reverend Richard Coles has just started writing some murder mysteries, and I've just read 2 of his, and also what's his name? Osman, Richard Osman, as well. Really enjoy him, and all the classics as well. You know, I like the ones I like. Sounds terrible. I like Nice Murders. Me, you know, it's St Mary. What do you mean nice murders? Murder's horrific. I said yes, but I like, you know, ones that, like, you know, Death in the Caribbean. You know, is it? So you people are being murdered left and right, but it's not too gory, and they're all sitting around having tea talking about it. I can deal with that kind of murder, and psychological thrillers I quite enjoy as well, that you have to really think and work out what's going on. I don't particularly like just blood and guts and gore and for the sake of it. But yeah, nice village murders I quite like.
Nice village murders, a bit
Nice
Morse.
murders, yeah. You know, Murder in the WI, that sort of thing. You know? Yeah, Midsummer Murders, all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, do you have a favorite dancer, dance group, or dance style?
I love ballet. I love ballet. Again, I just find it also beautiful that it's really hard to pin down that one dancer. I mean, Rudolf Nureyev, you know, in legend. But yeah, ballet is probably the one thing that makes my heart sing, because it's just so elegant and beautiful, and the music is so beautiful, and they just look so just perfect on the stage. I just love it. I can lose myself in the ballet completely.
Brilliant. I love that. Yes, right. So you can have your gargoyles and your interesting architecture. You can have your book and the dance. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. I want you to assume that you've been exiled from the United Kingdom and anywhere else you've been a resident for reasons of an unexplained misdemeanor. But you can choose where you're going to live based on your perception of that country's culture. Where are you off to?
I would probably go to Canada. Again, the perception of Canada is that they're nice people. It has snow in winter, which I love. You know, winter has to be cold, which is ironic because I'm going to Egypt for Christmas this year, and I'm going to feel very peculiar about it, because Christmas in the sunshine kind of goes against the grain with me. I like, you know, 10 feet of snow and Christmas trees and all of that. So I think, and I've got a lot of Canadian friends, and I just think it's a beautiful country, and I think I would fit in there quite nicely.
Nice. I love that. Yes, you can go to Canada. I read somewhere that something like 80% of Canadians live very close to the US border. It's all a line of population and a bit going up each side. I've never been. I did a project on Canada when I was 6 at school. Never been, but would love to. I think that'll have to be on my tour list.
Yeah, that or New Zealand, possibly. You know, I like the open space, and from what you hear about these places, they're not as caught up necessarily as we are in the day-to-day, and they still seem to have quite strong values, you know, attached to them. Whereas, you know, I wouldn't want to go to America. It would be too frenetic. I mean, it's a huge place. I'm sort of writing off America and all Americans, but I certainly wouldn't want to be in a city type landscape in America. It would be too busy. I don't think I could cope with that. And I don't really like cities even in the UK. I'll always, you know, it's very rare that I'll go into London. I'm a country girl. I live in Berkshire, and I have to have space and trees. And I'd love to live by the sea.
I'm very fortunate. I live very close to a river. I've lived in Barnes in London, Hammersmith, Fulham. I'm gradually working my way east along the River Thames. So yeah, I love that. I feel so much. I'm down there twice a day with the dog, walking along the river. I love it. So excellent. Okay, so you can go to either Canada or New Zealand. That's good. Now, as a participant or a spectator, do you have a favorite sport?
Ice skating. I used to be a figure skater. I used to dance. I used to be a figure skater, and with another hat on, I created Heroes on Ice, which is it started off as an ice show that I produced back in 2013 to raise money for Walking with the Wounded. One of the only people that has ever come out of doing an ice production for charity making money, apparently. But we earned quite a nice bit of money for them. And that was just amazing. And then that kind of grew and morphed, because I thought, is it all going to be about ice shows and producing ice shows? And I thought, no, it's wider than that. So then I started coaching parents of talented ice skaters and how to get funding for their children and what the next steps were. Their children show talent. You know, ice rinks are closing left, right and centre all over the UK. And if we do produce any talent, it goes elsewhere. You know, and ultimately, you know, some very hard choices have to be made, and to fund the rest of the journey, it's a very difficult journey, you know. And kids really get to a point where if they do show that talent, you're going to have to fund a move to another country if they're going to continue their career. So that's all kind of sitting in the background as well. I've got another lady who helps me with that, who's kind of taken on more of that. She's one of the most highly qualified ice coaches in the country, an absolutely wonderful woman. But I still dabble in that. But that's my passion project, is to support young ice skaters, because we've got a lot of talent in this country, but because we don't get behind ice skating in this country, it doesn't go very far, unfortunately. And
it's good. That's great work that you're doing, and it's all about providing access to the opportunity. I heard somebody say recently, I had to listen twice to it. The best violinist ever never got the chance to hold a violin, and it suddenly realized, yes, there's probably somebody out there who has had the potential to become the finest violinist we've ever seen, but they were never given the opportunity. And the same is true across all of the arts and the cultural industries.
That's something that I'm very passionate about, and I talk about in education as well, is to keep creativity alive in schools, because children don't all learn the same way. And I had a radio show yonks back talking about, we did a show on learning styles and how best children learn, and boys learn differently from girls. For example, a lot of boys are kinesthetic learners, which means they have to move or fidget. Doesn't mean they're not paying attention. It means that that's how they embed their learning. Some people are more visual, some people are more tonal. You have to find out what that is. And I've got a lovely friend who teaches teenagers who, you know, the education system, that they think, oh, I'm rubbish, I'm stupid, I can't learn. You can, you're just not being taught in the right way. And a lot of artists and creators are neurodiverse, and so they might not be getting great grades in school, but that doesn't mean to say they're dropouts. It means to say that they are going to be fabulous dancers or artists or graphic design, you know. And we need to pick out these talents and encourage children in those areas. You don't all, just because you're not good at maths or maths isn't your thing, doesn't mean that you're never going to get a job and you're never going to get anywhere. Find the thing. We should all be encouraging in our children, find the thing that really lights our children up. Is it singing? Is it dancing? Is it sport? Is it whatever? You don't just have to be reading, writing and going through. I mean, obviously it helps, but there are some fantastically lucrative creative careers out there. If you just think about things a little bit differently.
Yeah, I often said to my children when they were younger, please don't let school get in the way of your education. And it's
Totally agree.
You know, I've taught at schools, and so, and it strikes me that there is a lesson missing in the curriculum, and that's how to learn. And you're right. I was, as an anecdote, I was once teaching drums in a school in London, and one of my young students was approaching their options, having to take their options, drop certain subjects and focus on others. And it was back in the day when it was generally you're either going to be sciences or arts, you know. And he was quite upset because he was torn. So we got a piece of paper out, and I asked him to list his subjects on the left-hand side of the page in the order in which he enjoyed them. And then on the right-hand side, I said, right, I'd like you to rewrite that list in the order in which you're told you're good at it. And we then looked for subjects that were at the top of both lists and at the bottom of both lists. And it was like a light bulb moment for him. He suddenly realized, yeah, I'm good at that and I love it. And I said, well, the chances are your professional life will be something to do with those. And he went off at the end of his lesson, and I got a note in the pigeonhole from the headmaster saying, Mark, would you come and see me when you have a moment, please? And I thought, oh no, what have I done? And so I walked into the headmaster's office, and he said, I've had a letter from John's parents, one of your students. I believe you've been giving him career advice. And I thought, oh, here we go. I'm going to get the push here. I said, yes, it was really, he was quite upset. And so I just helped him with a tactic to try and identify which options he should take. And he said, I see. He said, they were very complimentary in their letter, and I think it's a brilliant idea. So we're rolling it out across the school. And that was really satisfying. But it's just finding, yeah, what is it that fascinates you, and that you want to learn more about. Yeah. So there we go. We're off piste already. Look,
sorry.
No, it's my fault as well. Now this one's quite cruel. I'm going to limit you to one musical genre for the rest of your life.
Okay. What's my favorite musical genre? Classical, yeah. I think. Classical. Because it's so, it can be anything, hauntingly beautiful. It can be devastating. It can make you cry. It can make you so joyous. So yeah, the classical music, I think, followed closely by country and western.
Oh, nice.
Because I do love cry.
You and I are more similar than I think we'd care to admit. Yes, I can't live without the last 10 minutes of Mahler's Second Symphony. And that's tingle factor every time. And yeah, country, there are some lovely country song lyrics or titles that I thought were quite amusing, and it's typical. It couldn't happen in any other genre. I think one of the titles of the songs was, if I'd shot you sooner, I'd have been out of jail by now. I like that one. And the other one was, you put the hell in hello and the good in goodbye.
And I love it.
I know. And my favorite one was, how can I miss you if you won't go away?
I might use that on my husband.
I got into trouble yesterday at the wedding we were attending. I think my wife and I were discussing something, and I said, honey, I could agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. Anyway, right, yes, so you can have your classical music. Well, you're right, that could be everything from plain chant to Hans Zimmer, the theme of Gladiator, and everything in between.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great. Interstellar is the only movie I watch for the music, and that's primarily what I love, and it works brilliantly as a film, but the music just elevates it incredibly.
And Disney's Fantasia as well, that was wonderful.
Yeah, that was a childhood catch for me when I was younger.
My son loves it.
Now we're going to go into the realms of visual art. Do you have a favorite visual artist?
I hate questions like this because there's so many and trying to narrow it down and pick one. I don't think I do have one particular favorite. It's too hard to pick one. That's just really mean. To me, those are the mean questions. Like, who's your favorite? I can't pick because there's too many nice ones, and I'm not going to. So there.
Okay. I have to throw one of mine in then in these circumstances. That's the rules.
Oh, no.
For me, I think it's The Raft of the Medusa by Jericho, which is in the Louvre. I still to this day don't know how an artist who must be arm's length away from the canvas can do a toenail that's that big. It's an enormous painting and it's fantastic, and I can stand in front of it for hours, but it's just the sheer talent that makes that possible. I mean, he must have been walking back, do a bit, go back, have a look, go back, because you can't see the whole
mind, doesn't it? It boggles the mind.
It is mind-boggling. Yeah. I also love sorry, go on.
I love art that you can lose yourself in. You know, paintings that you can really just lose yourself in, and there are many. And I do, for the old artists, you know, you think, gosh, how did they do that, and how long did it take come up with these just amazing things? I can't draw or paint at all. That's not my thing. I'd love to be able to. Maybe when I retire, I'll do a course or something. But it just, I just really appreciate that other people are the geniuses that can create these wonderful images, or sculptures even as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, what about a favorite play or musical?
Musical has got to be The Greatest Showman with Hugh, oh God, what's his name?
Yes.
It's in Cotton Wool Brain, COVID brain. The music
Jackman.
in that is just, Hugh Jackman, absolutely amazing. I'll sing that all the time. If I need an energy lift, I'll just put that on, whack it up in the car, and I'll just play that over and 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 over again. And I have to say, and again, this is mean because I've got quite a few plays that I love, but theatre, probably Disney's The Lion King. Being an ex-Disney girl myself, it was the one that really just blew me away, because I remember going to see it for the first time thinking, how in the world are they going to take like a cartoon with animals, put it on the stage? I didn't know how they were going to do that at all. And I came out of that theatre, and the music is fantastic as well, you know, and I was just like, and then I've been back to see it every few years. I'll go back and see it, and obviously the costumes have changed and everything's morphed and designed and got better and better and better. So the show that you see, if you went to see it today, is not what you'd have got, you know, 10 years or so ago. So I think the innovation of productions like that are just amazing, and it's such an experience, and I can't wait to take my little boy to go and see it, because I think he'll just absolutely adore it.
Yeah, fantastic. A friend of mine fixes the band in London for that, and he's done the backstage tours as well, which is great fun, putting on some of the costumes. And if you want to do that with your son, let me know, because I might be able to arrange that.
Yes, I might take you up on that. Absolutely, he'd love it. He does drama on a Saturday at Pauline Quirk Academy, and he loves it. And he is a little drama queen, I have to say. And I think if he doesn't go into a creative career, especially on the stage, he's very, very funny. I'd be amazed, because he loves it, and he likes the spotlight being on him as well. He's not really shy, and he loves writing and creating stories. So, you know, I think he'll do something creative.
Good. And a film. What about a favorite film?
Favorite film, I think, and again, it is a musical, West Side Story, because it just reduces me to tears every single time I watch
the original, or the original, or the later one?
The original, Natalie Wood. Yeah, probably West Side Story, because it just stays with you. You know, I love.
I was very fortunate. When I was studying at the Guildhall in London, we did a production of Bernstein's Mass, which is underperformed everywhere. It's wonderful, and he came and conducted one of the rehearsals. So that was just wonderful. So
the music and the dancing.
That was a high point.
Yeah, I bet.
And finally for this section, apart with the exception of me, who was the last person to make you laugh?
Who was the last person to make me laugh? Gosh, that's
sounds like it wants to be your son.
Yeah, probably. No, I made him cry the other day, so that, bless him, because he's studying for his 11 plus, so it's all a bit stressy at the moment. So it's too much homework on me. The last person to make me laugh was a lady called Kathleen Shaw, who ran our creative warm-up at our creatives meeting yesterday. Every meeting we have a creative warm-up, and it's very different and varies, and I don't tell people what's going on before they come, because some people might just shrink away in horror. But she did she's an actress, so she did like a vocal warm-up and a mouth trilling blah, 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 kind of what, and so we were all putting these extraordinary faces and making these extraordinary sounds, and it just was hilarious. And I cried and had a coughing fit at the same time because it was just, yeah, I was weeping. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for doing those with me, Melanie. Those are great. As always, a surprise and an anecdote, more anecdotes, which is great. Now, the next bit is a bit fast-paced. We don't need explanations. You just have to choose one of the two.
Right.
Okay. And it might be equally difficult. We'll start off quite generically, but it might become a bit more arts and culture. Okay. So this is inspired by a TV show I watched when I was a kid, where a celebrity would look into the camera and the computer voice would give them two things and they had to choose one. So I can't remember what it's called, but I think I remember Peter Shilton, the goalie, doing it. And so I thought I'd do it with us. So Are you ready?
Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Radio or television?
Television.
High heels or trainers?
Trainers now, used to be high heels.
Car or motorcycle?
Car.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Concert hall or sports stadium?
Concert hall.
Cat or dog?
Cat.
Test the water or dive in at the deep end?
Dive in at the deep end.
Orange juice, bits or no bits?
Bits.
Library or museum?
Library.
Beethoven or Mozart?
Mozart.
Cooking or being cooked for?
Being cooked for, definitely.
Shopping online or shopping in store?
Online.
Reggae or salsa?
Salsa.
Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Start immediately or wait until the last minute?
Depends what it is. Wait until the last minute, I'm going to say. That's probably mostly true.
We're clearly very similar. Science or history?
Oh, that's a horrible question. Science.
Okay. New York or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
White or black?
White.
Square or circle?
Circle.
Early morning or late night?
Early morning.
Okay. Messy desk or tidy desk?
Messy.
Planning it or winging it?
Planning it.
Bedroom door open or closed?
Open.
See the future or change the past?
See the future.
Red or white wine?
Today, red.
Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Numbers or words?
Words.
Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
Opera or chamber music?
Opera.
Whiskey or rum?
Oh, goodness. Whiskey and rum.
Whiskey with rum. Vodka or gin?
Gin.
Excellent. Mountains or beaches?
Beaches.
Sweet or savoury snacks?
Savoury.
Abstract or realistic art?
Realistic.
Photography or painting?
Photography.
Black and white or colour photography?
Oh, this is mean. Colour.
Ballet or contemporary dance?
Ballet. Traditional ballet.
Thought that would be the one. Shakespeare or Chekhov?
Shakespeare.
A film or a live theatre experience?
Live theatre.
And finally, oh no, there's a few more here. Jane Austen or Charles Dickens?
Oh, you. Charles Dickens. I actually quite enjoy Charles Dickens.
Mystery or romance novels?
Mystery.
Love it. I think I'm going to do one more. This is the last one. Silver or gold?
Oh, silver.
Brilliant. That was fun. And everybody who watches this will now feel as though they've met you, Melanie. So thank you so much for doing those. This has been fun. There'll be links dotted around everywhere. If I can make it work, it'll be transcribed with subtitles as well, which was fun yesterday with one of our members who's a very French accent, so it struggled. But I think we'll be okay. But see you soon at one of our future events. Thank you so much for being a full member and for doing this today. I hope it wasn't too painful.
Some of those questions were mean, but no, it was good. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Melanie.